How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi, host of Tier Talk, and I had another question sent my way. And I love it, guys, because I'm trying to get topics out every day to kind of build the views on the channel. So these topics that you guys are helping me out with is really helping me give out some really good information. I just have to do a little research once in a while. And the topic that was asked was, Gangi, how do you cultivate an informant, a jailhouse informant? So basically, I'm not going to use the word snitch. I like the fact that the person was professional and used the word jailhouse informant, because now, again, how do you cultivate an informant? That's great, because you're talking about making sure that the information that you're getting is legit, but also you're not in a position of obligation to that inmate. That's key, and I want to make sure people don't forget that. You have an informant, but I don't want you to be put in a position where you feel obligated to that inmate because of the information that they're giving you. And guys, I have covered obligation. You gotta check out the videos. I think it's under a playlist for inmate manipulation. But the key here, when you cultivate an informant, it's a very balanced relationship professional relationship between the person who's in charge of that informant, so officer, an investigator, or whatnot, and the informant themselves. And it's tough, because it's not just about the feeling of obligation. It's about, why is this person giving me the information? Do they benefit from this? So there's a lot of balances here, and I got an opinion on how to cultivate an informant. And guys, again, it's not all inclusive, so feel free to comment, add your thoughts. It helps us grow, and then you never know who utilizes this as good information to take with them when they're on the job. So stand by for our sponsors. When I come back, we'll talk about how to cultivate a jailhouse informant.
I wanted to attend a university that had an intelligence program. I wanted to look at problems different. I wanted to increase my critical thinking abilities. AMU offered those avenues to expand. Obtaining your degree as an adult, you're actually paying yourself and investing in yourself. You can't put a dollar on it. It's priceless. It's something that can never be taken away from you.
American Military University. Learn from the leader.
Being a corrections officer takes its toll on even the strongest individuals. The constant need to perform at the highest level, putting your life at risk in a hostile environment, and the mental scarring of traumatic experiences. 31% of corrections officers show symptoms of PTSD, and 66% of people with PTSD also suffer with a substance abuse problem. The Transformations First Responders program is specially designed to help veterans and officers heal from the grips of addiction and PTSD in a comfortable, supportive, and serene setting. You are not alone. If you have questions about the services we offer, give us a call at 866-762-8454 to get more information on this affordable and life-changing program.
Thank you guys for listening to our sponsors. So, believe it or not, guys, controlling a jailhouse informant, cultivating that relationship is extremely, extremely difficult. There's a balance that really needs to be in play that I really don't think rookie cops understand or rookie officers understand. I think that's why when it comes to cultivating informants, you need to be a senior officer with some experience. I'm not saying for rookie cops or rookie officers that when you get information, it's like, I don't do nothing. No, I'm saying you still got to go to these areas to filter that information, So if you get some information your way, go to a senior cop or go to your supervisor and say, this was sent to you, what do you do with it? But I think when it comes to maintaining a balance and really working with sources, you got to have some experience and you got to know these inmates. And that's why I'm going to go ahead and say that it should be really dealt with by senior cops, because they're going to know their inmates, senior officers. They're going to know their inmates, and these inmates, even informants, they'll test you. They'll play games. So we're not perfect, but the more experience we have gives us a better chance of winning that game. So again, I would like to see more senior cops involved in dealing with informants and less rookie cops. And again, that just talks about the balance that's needed to cultivate an informant and the information that you could be getting. Because God forbid, you're getting information that literally is either false just to have you running around or furthers the gain of another group. One of the things I did when an inmate came up to me and gave me information was I want to know what motivated them to give me the information first. Why are you giving me the information? What do you hope to get from it? Because barely ever you're going to find somebody trying to give you the information for the right reasons. Usually there's a personal gain from it. Let's say you have two rival gangs and one gang is selling drugs and the other gang snitches on that group. Well, they could be snitching because maybe they want to sell drugs and this person that's selling drugs now is messing with their flow. So you got to ask, what motivates you to tell me this information? I also don't like the reward system. Now, this is where it's going to become debatable. I don't like rewarding an informant for information. I know that's it seems to be an acceptable practice. The reason why is because the reward starts becoming the justification for the information that you're getting. So if you get an inmate that's in desperation mode in need of something, next thing you know, they could be making up stuff just so they can get something from you. So you really don't want that relationship between you and an informant to be a reward relationship. You give me information, I reward you. Because again, the reward becomes the justification. And I'm not a big fan of that. But I'm not saying sometimes you have to do it. But also, by rewarding the inmate, it kind of puts us in a feeling of obligation. And I did a video on this, guys. We're never should feel obligated to an inmate. Ever. Because when you feel obligated to someone, it puts them in a position of control. And I don't want to believe that when we have informants telling us information that they're the one in control. It's not that way. When we get the information and what we do at all times, we're the ones that are in control. So even if there's a little reward system going on, again, not 100% big fan of it, but I don't think it should be every time you're giving the person's giving you information. I don't. The information pans out, if you feel you need to, because maybe that can end that sense of obligation. But again, I think there's other ways to do it. I think there's ways to cultivate an informant without being in that position where you feel obligated to give them something because they gave you something. How I cultivated informants, and again, nothing's 100%, is it was usually when they were in desperation for whatever it was. The inmate was in a mode of desperation, whether they had just gotten charged or maybe something happened in their home life that I was able to get wind of. I just happened to be there at the right time, at the right moment, said some right things to them, and it built a rapport with them because the power of that moment traveled with them and actually added more weight to our interaction. I dealt with inmates that had the death of a family member that they loved, and it just happened to be I was the one doing the escort. And just our small little communication have built a trust with the inmate to me. Not with me to the inmate, with the inmate to me. So now just having that interaction, the inmates may feel that they're obligated to me. Could be, nothing's 100%. Still gonna filter the information, make sure it's correct. Why are you telling me this? But it puts me in a better position than me feeling obligated to them. In this case, they feel obligated to me. So again, I just happen to stumble onto something, or just a moment where they were desperate. Maybe had a good conversation with them, or maybe simple as, they got their GED and they're on that high because they just graduated, and you hey, congratulations on the GED, I know you worked hard for it. Just those little moments could carry a lot of weight later on. Little jailhouse technique. But again, the cool thing about this is that we are not obligated to them. They were in an act of desperation, so now they have that sense of obligation to us because we were able to lift them professionally. So they didn't break any rules. There's no rules being broken here. So again, that can help create an informant where you have more control, because it's not based on the reward system. It's based on the fact that they're obligated to you because you were there for a moment in which they needed you. They needed someone to talk to them, someone to calm them down. And in some cases, they'll remember that. They will. And again, they may provide you with information that's useful. But again, you still filter it. Nothing's 100%. You still filter it. Why are you giving me this? Try your best you can to understand why the information is coming your way and what you need to do with it. And you got to ask yourself, if I run with this information, what's the outcome? Will this benefit anybody in any way? Because again, you don't want to just run on every type of information. First off, you could be running around for foolish information. But second thing is that the outcome, you act on something You got to know what that immediate outcome is and the domino effect. That's why there's such a complex relationship with jail informants and the officer, that you really got to have somebody with experience handling that information. Somebody with experience handling the informant. Because there's such a risk of being played and just bad things happening. And it definitely opens up the road to manipulation. So this is my advice, and I know there's a lot more. Guys, feel free to comment below. You know, add your own advice. I'm sure we've dealt with it before. If you agree or disagree, I love to have really good communication here. And guys, if you have any questions, email me. Gangi, G-A-N-G-I, Anthony@yahoo.com. Gangi, Anthony@yahoo.com. And guys, if you haven't, the channel's for the frontline people that work in the corrections, frontline brave men and women that work in the field. So please, if you haven't, subscribe, interact, engage, and hit that bell. That bell's going to notify you every time I post up a video. Good information's on this channel because it's collective. It's not just me. I get it from my support. And as always, I appreciate that support. Love you guys. Stay safe.